and turn it over to Jamie.
Thanks, Chris. Oh, thanks for putting your campuses in the chat there. That's really helpful. So Chris asked me to speak at the meeting today about kind of exemplary uses of the Brightspace learning environment. And over the past year, at first we were just triaging, getting into Brightspace and learning the bare minimum, right, to get started, get our faculty started. And now that we're past the triage, we're trying to move more into the kind of how can we leverage the tools and elements within Brightspace to make it more user-friendly for the faculty member, kind of decrease the amount of time they spend on course management, and increase the students' overall experience, whether it's for easier navigation or for it's using some of the tools that will help the student identify what needs to be done so that they can achieve all of the expected goals for a particular module. And so I'm working in collaboration with Danielle O'Brien from Alfred, and she's going to do a presentation at Fusion this year on exemplary Brightspace course materials, et cetera. So we're going to be working on collecting those SUNY-wide. But the other way we're going to collect some of the exemplary materials is through the Otter Institute. And we run the Otter Institute every year. And the last year and this year focus exclusively on Brightspace, just because it's occupying so much of our faculty members' time and energy, et cetera. We wanted to try to meet those needs. I'm going to post a link for the Otter Institute here into the chat. And we already have 100 people registered for this event. I'm really excited about that number. We just put the announcement out. So, and this is a 6-week long institute in the spring, and then another 6-week long institute in the fall, where faculty will get to listen to a workshop at the beginning of the week, and then participate in the companion materials within Brightspace, where they will build something, a course information module, their individual modules, checklists, rubrics, et cetera, all of these things that will make their lives easier as faculty members, et cetera. So the objective is for them to come out of this institute with deliverables. And as a part of that, we're hoping to collect from people just screenshots, videos of that material, and all of that kind of collaboration with Danielle's project for her Fusion presentation, which is a D2L conference, by the way. We're going to be posting those exemplars on the DLE website so that faculty can get an idea of what is possible within Brightspace and actually how easy it is for them to create that content themselves. And so what I thought I would do today, if that's all right with you all, is share some of the materials that we've built over the last year in our trainings, in our advanced workshops, et cetera. And I also included some of the materials that I use in my own course that I teach in the fall. And so you'll notice here I'm in the Brightspace course shell within the CPD's tenant of the DLE. And this is my table of contents. So I have best practices here. That's what the BP stands for. And this is an example of what we kind of encourage faculty to include at a bare minimum in their course overview. And then I have here, this is my actual material from my course materials. And then here's an example of some of the best practices on how to lay out your module. So modules tend to look a lot different than your getting started or introductory materials here. So what we like to see actually is using this, it's kind of a hidden element here within a folder or a module in Brightspace. It's the description area. And so when the students click into a particular folder, they're welcomed with some language and using something called a replace string. Replace strings can be used on virtually every page within Brightspace, but it helps us personalize the course materials for our students. It's a simple replace string. I can type it right in here into the chat if I can find the chat. Sorry, forgive me for just a moment. And just typing in this replace string into the description area, into the title, into like into an email, into an announcement, etc. It actually, Brightspace will replace a string of characters with whichever user is looking at that particular page at that particular moment. It replaces it with their name, and that personalizes the course for the student. It makes them feel like, hey, welcome to me, right? That's great. And to just get the student oriented towards what they can expect to find within that particular folder. So this is my welcome module. So we of course encourage a nice little image that I use something that already says welcome, and this is going to give you an idea of what we find within this course. And then Brightspace makes it really easy to create videos within your course that are captioned, that you don't need any outside, editing equipment, etc. You can create the video right within your course. So you can do an orientation video like, hi, welcome to the class. This is me. This is the material we're going to be covering this semester. And not only that, it allows you to do a screen share so you can actually click through the materials and show your students what's going on there. But we encourage faculty, of course, to have an orientation video so that students understand how you as a particular faculty member lay out your course materials. We know that the best practice is, of course, to have every faculty member in every course on every campus, right, in the DLE, presenting their material in a really similar way. So it cuts down on the cognitive load for our students as they're learning to navigate between materials. But we also know that in practice, that's not necessarily what occurs. And so if we can encourage faculty to include this orientation video that they can create right here within Brightspace, it helps the student to get a feel for where things are located within the course. And again, that's a lovely tool that Brightspace provides to us here. I'm going to click right in here into this material, into this page. And this is typically how your students are going to be navigating Brightspace. They'll click into a module and then they'll open up one of the pages. And once they're in there, they tend not to go back out to that list. They tend to navigate between pages using these arrows, or they can use this hidden map, which I always point out to my students at the beginning of, I've done it once, but this is what my practice will be. I point out the value of this menu that kind of hides over here in the corner here. It's helpful, of course, best practices to present this overview of your course, and there's a document template. And for those of you who aren't aware what document templates are, there are these pages that are created within Brightspace that are easily editable. They have great graphics and are accessible and responsive. And by responsive, that means that it will adjust to whatever screen size is being used to view that page. So if someone's viewing this from a phone, it's going to look much different than if they're viewing it from an iPad or from a full screen monitor, etc. So using these document templates improves the experience for your students when they are accessing the course from different screen sizes, etc. But they also kind of make your content seem very modern. They look more similar to a website that your students are kind of comfortable navigating, et cetera. And so the document templates are another one of these things that we can use. Great, Leanne, I'm so happy to hear that. How easy it is to use these document templates. I use them exclusively in my course materials and my course content because I just love the way it makes my content look. It makes it so easy for me to add the content that I want and make it appear the way I want it to look. So here I'm going to navigate to my next page here, where we will see this is another document template. This is the one that was in my course from last semester. It, of course, does not have my full gray head of hair here, but that's all right. It gives me an opportunity to let the students know my name, a little bit about myself, and how to contact me, how to contact the department that I teach in, and kind of set the expectations for communication. So this is one of the other document templates that faculty can use. And it's a great way to let your students know how to contact you. And of course, we encourage faculty to upload a full course syllabus, which I put in one of my sample syllabi right here. You can upload it as a Word document, a PDF, etc. Or you could break that syllabus apart and present it in other ways as well. And I'll show you that in the next module here. You can have your students participate in an introduce yourself discussion. And of course, that is best practices. It sets the tone for building that student and instructor presence within your course. It helps to establish that RSI, or regular and substantive interaction, that the faculty kind of models, and then students can adopt there. And I'm going to actually come back here just to show you what this is going to look like. You'll notice that I have, of course, in my introductory module here, I've laid out my course overview video. I let people know what to expect overall, introduce myself. I have the syllabus. But then I also included in this particular module, the getting started is a gateway activity. And this is another thing. Oh, yeah, sorry, there's a conversation going on about the first names. There's a whole list of replace strings, by the way. And typically the only one I use, unless I'm using an intelligent agent, which I'll talk about in just a moment, but the first name is the one I use most regularly there. But the other thing that we encourage people to do is, if you've taught, or you know people who teach, students don't read the syllabus right. And so part of best practices for teaching is to introduce a syllabus quiz that acts as a gateway. So students would have to read the syllabus. They would have to answer these questions that ensure that the students understand critical components of that syllabus. And then within Brightspace, you can use something called a release condition that you can set on the first module that says, hey, if this student achieved a 100% on the syllabus quiz, then that's going to trigger the release of module 1. And so until that student completes that quiz with a 100%, they don't have access to module 1 activities. So that's another great feature. This, of course, has existed in other learning management systems, but I honestly think it's so easy to set up here within Brightspace. So these release conditions are a great way for us to dictate the progression of students through course content based on level of achievement or specific actions that they can take. So I'm going to take you now into my course information modules for my own course here, just to show you how I've taken kind of what we encourage faculty to do with their best practices, and I've elaborated it a little bit here. So I have my Let's Get Started image at the top of the module with some information, and of course the replace string here again about what students should expect within this particular Getting Started module. I have here, I'm going to show you kind of what's included, and then I'll go through each of the pages if that's all right. I have a web page about just getting started. I've included a tool within Brightspace called a checklist, and this allows me to dictate the things that the student needs to do in order to successfully complete this module, and also gives them a checklist so they understand what are all the things, actions that I have to take in this particular module to be successful. I have an overview of the course. I have a printable course syllabus, a Meet Your Instructor page, and then I have kind of pulled out critical elements of the syllabus that I tend to get the most questions about. And I've created separate pages here within Brightspace. So in addition to the information in their syllabus, it's here in the module as well. And that includes the outcomes, how the course is laid out, the different types of learning activities. There's a fairly large research project, so I've broken it up into discrete stages, information about the instructional materials, how you're be evaluated, et cetera. All of this, where then I end with that syllabus quiz. And once they've done that, they can view the next steps. So I'm going to take us here into this page and say, ready to get started. And I'm using a document template that I've customized. I've added in my own image here. And I just said, here are the things that we're going to be doing this week, right? These are the things. Gave them some navigational tips. I talk about this menu up here on the left-hand side to kind of get them comfortable with using that. Then next comes this checklist, and this renders a little bit differently when you're in a faculty mode. Actually, let me switch to student view and see how that's going to look for us really quickly. And so this is what this will look like for my students. I have two different categories in my checklist. These are things they have to read, and these are the things that they have to complete in this particular module. So they have to read these course information materials, and I can provide them with a link directly to that particular thing. They have to read the syllabus with a link there, and they have to complete the syllabus quiz. And I forgot to include a link here, but they can introduce themselves. And once they're done with this, they can click the checks and they can feel confident that they have completed the checklist and everything that they needed to do for this particular module. So this is another tool that we didn't encourage people to do when we were triaging, just getting people started. But these kind of tools within Brightspace make the learner experience a little bit more simplified. I don't know if you know a student or you've experienced an online course as a student, but sometimes it's hard to understand what it is that you have to do on a particular day or a particular week. And so this checklist really removes a lot of that frustration and anxiety for students. This is, of course, the course overview, and I customized the image again in this document template. This is about diversity in business organizations. And of course, so I chose an image that highlights that we're going to be talking about diversity. So you can really customize your course to look a certain way. This is just my Word document syllabus. And we already saw this, meet your instructor page. This is a page, another document template that allows me to give an overview of this course in particular. I included, of course, the description that's in the course catalog, and then the overall course learning outcomes here for my students to see, which I think is incredibly important. You know, we're supposed to include these on our syllabi, but it's also good to pull these out so that students can see them as a standalone object. I used another document template, and I customized this document template to include a couple of different elements. And so I can talk to my students here about how the course is organized. And I use these things called call-out boxes that really call attention to a particular item. It jumps off the page at students. So if you need help, there's information for you about getting that help. For student learning activities, or for how to navigate or use Brightspace. The course learning activities, you know, like they can anticipate that they're going to do discussions and they're going to do assignments, etc. But I use another type of document template in here called an accordion. And the accordion allows me to put a ton of information on a page without overwhelming my students. And so I have indicated all of the learning activities in this course. And so if they want to learn more about any of these activities, you just click on the title. So if a student wants to know more about these getting started activities, it will, sorry, I had to cross something out. It wasn't working before, but these are the activities that the student would need to complete: the syllabus quiz, the Brightspace orientation materials. If they wanted to learn more about the online discussions, they can expand that out. And so if you can see that if I expanded all this out and didn't put it into an accordion on a single page, that's a lot of information that my student would have to scroll through, and it's very overwhelming. But the use of the accordions allows my students to control how much and which information is presented to them at any given time. And I really love this as a tool, particularly in my course information modules. I did something similar with their big research project overview. And so I've divided this up into those accordions again. I gave them a link to a document that I have about the components of the research project. And then if they want to learn more about the overview, This is a particular assignment that they're going to choose in module 2, and then in module 3, they're going to start with part 1, where they build the abstract hypothesis and develop a research question, right? And so they can come to this page and see what exactly they need to reference. And then when I have the assignments set up, I can link back to this page from that assignment. So I don't have to duplicate all of this information, but I can link them directly here. And I also encourage my students to use the bookmark tool for helpful pages like this as well. I have another document template I use just to inform students about the required textbooks and the other materials that they'll need within the course. I, of course, included a link to free products for them. As students, they have access to that. I also clarified for them how they're going to be evaluated. And in this case, I used a different type of document template called a tab. And this way they can see how the points are allocated across the course, and by homework quizzes, the project, etc., as well as click over here into this tab and they can see the grading scale, that's the official grading scale of the campus, etc. So tabs are another way where you can present kind of related information, but in a way that they can see exactly what they want at any particular time. And they don't have to do a lot of scrolling. Those document templates, there are 11 of them and they're amazing. I love them, obviously, because I use them all the time in my courses. I used another document template. This is just a basic page to talk about the different types of course communication we have within my course, and all the different ways they can communicate with me or each other, etc. And then if they have any questions about that, this information is available in that course information folder for them. And then I like to add in some technical requirements, and I give them information about the Brightspace Pulse app. And when I was talking about responsive pages within Brightspace, a lot of students are accessing their course materials via this Pulse app. It's free, and so they can access their course and participate completely via their phone. So if you're using these document templates, their course experience is going to be much better than if you were just building your pages regularly. I have a netiquette statement using another document template for videos. And so you can see how large this video ends up being. And then I kind of guide them what they should be looking for in that particular video. And then here's their syllabus quiz again, and they would have to complete this syllabus quiz with a 100% in order to move forward into module 1. And oh, sorry, one last page here. This is the next step. So at the beginning of every single one of my modules will have, hey, what's expected with a checklist, right? And then at the end, these are your next steps. So you've already completed the introductory materials. Now it's time to move on to module 1. And then here's a list of all the things that they're going to do in module 1. And there's an argument for online course materials or online materials in general that some redundancy is good. And I will, of course, within module 1 have, these are the things that you need to do, and here's your checklist. But it's also helpful to have it in so that they know where to go next, right? So I like to have it at the end and the beginning of my modules, just so my students are like, okay, just completed everything, what's next? Well, they click on this page and they're like, ah, I see what's next, and they can go to it. So I see there's a great conversation here about some of the tools we're using. I'm happy to address that. Just let me show you one more thing, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about intelligent agents, and then I can kind of open it up here. This is a kind of a boilerplate module. This is how we tend to encourage faculty to display their information. And when a student then would click into, say, for example, this is the week 1 activities. And again, this is a diversity in organizations course. And so I try to tailor all of the images in my class to the particular course that I'm teaching. So this is, I will have week 1, week 2, week 3, et cetera, with the same image at the top of all of my modules. And building that consistency then gives students a little bit of comfort. They're like, oh, this looks exactly like week 1 or week 2, et cetera. So I know I can anticipate where things are going to be within this module. And sometimes I have found that I'm still putting some of the information about what students should expect right here within the kind of the first thing within the page. But you might also want to include a document template or another page, right, that lists all these things out as well. It's going to be up to you, but it's good to provide that information up front. Another checklist associated with each of these modules. So every single module, they can anticipate finding this checklist and clicking through that so they know that they've met all of the objectives for that particular module. And my students are really grateful for that, by the way. I encourage them to sign up for Remind, which is a way for me to communicate via text without sharing phone numbers with my students. That's a free tool. I present the PowerPoint and a video, and then I have links to my discussions and other gradable activities. And so here's where I wanted to talk to you a little bit about best practices for your gradable activities in your courses. Unfortunately, your gradable activities, you can't use those document templates. And so I kind of create my own template that I then use for every single one of my gradable activities. And this is what a discussion is going to look like. First, I link to the discussion topic within Brightspace, and they can click on that. And then they're brought to this page where they can start to participate. They can see the full instructions. And so best practices is provide some context for your students, right? So that they understand the value of this assignment, what it relates to, et cetera. And maybe which readings or video or lecture that this refers back to. Pose a question and then give them, or questions, and then give them solid instructions on what their main post and their response posts should look like. And it's particularly important for the response posts. So I don't know if you experience this personally as an instructor, or your instructors experience this as well, but students don't always know how to engage academically in a discussion forum. And so if you give them the kind of approach it from this angle, these students are going to be talking about electrical neuronal communication. These students are going to be talking about chemical neurotransmission. And so your responses should be from each of those angles, et cetera. But if you give your students that kind of input, it's easier for them to respond appropriately and keep that conversation going instead of, yes, I liked it, right? So the next is, this is similar to my discussions for my best practices assignment. Again, providing that context, providing instructions, including the full, what the paper or the essay or the reflection should be about, how many words, what kind of formatting, et cetera. You can include all of that here in the instructions. And then Brightspace has rubrics that are amazing. I love them. They are easy to create, they're easy to grade with, et cetera, and are highly customizable. So giving your students access to the rubric beforehand so that they know what to include both in discussions or in written assignments is a really easy feature. So it's another tool within Brightspace that I do encourage faculty to use a lot. Yeah, ChatGPT, we're talking about that a lot in the instructional design circles, and we're going to have to probably come up with some methods to work with that. But some of the ways that I've heard faculty already talking about it is they're going to encourage their students to do their first draft with ChatGPT, submit that, and then their job is to edit it, make it better, to verify, et cetera. So yeah, we're going to have all sorts of conversations about ChatGPT. And then I, of course, include the next steps. Did I not include my quiz? I totally didn't include a quiz. One of the things that I want to show you about quizzes, another bit of best practice that we encourage. Oh, it's not visible because I'm in as a student. Hang on just a second. Oh, I didn't mean to log out. It's going to be that kind of day today. I'm really sorry. Get back in here. That's why the quiz was not visible. I was in as a student still, and I didn't make it available. But if I go to that sample module again, you can see this quiz. This is information that you can add into the description area of your quiz, and it helps your students know what to do in the event of a technical issue while they're taking a quiz, particularly a quiz that's timed with only one attempt, et cetera. And so I encourage my students to write down that telephone number so that they can contact the help desk in the event of an emergency. And of course, the telephone number, because if they lose access to the internet or to Brightspace, it's not going to be helpful if I give them a link, right? So I give them that phone number. So at any rate, it's kind of important, something I tend to encourage faculty to include within their course materials. So the last thing I did want to talk about in terms of, as prepared remarks anyway, is another tool called an intelligent agent. And this is really where you're going to see some benefits to your course management strategies. And I'm going to take you here into intelligent agents within Brightspace. And we do full workshops on all of these things: release conditions, rubrics, intelligent agents, etc. But the value of these agents are that it allows you to keep track of which students either are or are not accomplishing or completing certain assignments, posting in discussions, etc., without you having to go in and look on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Before the semester starts, you can set up these series of intelligent agents, like, for example, in the orientation week. I know my students have to participate in that icebreaker discussion, and they have to complete that. They have to complete that syllabus quiz with 100%. If they don't do those things, because I have a gateway attached to my course materials, they can't access Module 1. And if they can't access Module 1 in a timely fashion, that's not going to set them up for success, right? So running these intelligent agents, I can ask Brightspace to identify for me which students have not completed that quiz. It can run daily if I want. And so every day during that first week, I would get updates about who hasn't completed these things yet. I could also have Brightspace email those students for me, like, hey, it's really important that you complete this syllabus quiz. Here's the link, etc. And so again, that reduces how much course management I have to do. I don't have to go into that quiz every day, email those students individually every day. Brightspace is going to do it for me. The same with those discussions. I can set up an intelligent agent that's going to identify students who haven't made the main post into peer replies. So these are intelligent agents are a game changer in terms of making sure that you're establishing some of that RSI without having to be in your course every moment of every day. So you could use them for identifying students who are at risk, but you could also use these agents to identify students who are exceeding expectations. So you could set it up for students who posted more than 6 times in the discussion. Like, great work. I really appreciate your kind of interaction within this discussion forum. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's noted, etc. So that encourages then students. They're like, oh, my instructor noticed that I was really engaged this week. I'm going to keep that up. And that you as a faculty member, while this is a genuine exchange, right? You are genuinely interested in students participating more. That's not something that you have to do every day, right? So it's a great thing. And then another course tool you could look into using is, let me see, are they in here? Awards. And the awards allow you to create like little badges for your students to earn. Say they complete they could get a badge for being a super poster in a discussion forum. Like if you post more than 10 times, you get this little badge. And at the end of the semester, if you earn 6 badges for exemplary discussion participation, then you get a certificate or something along those lines. But awards are great ways to encourage participation, to encourage students to engage with your course materials and their fellow students, etc. So I'm going to open it up to discussion or kind of to questions, or we can, talk about these features within Brightspace that make our experiences or your faculty's experiences a little bit better, and how to improve the student experience overall. And first, I'm going to answer Maggie. The document templates are available throughout Brightspace. So if you have access to a course within Brightspace, you can create a page. So I'm here in a module, say for example, I'm going to click upload and create a file, which is creating a page in Brightspace. And then when you do that, you're going to notice this gray box over to the side, select a document template, and there are 11 of them. I know it says 10, but they start with 0. And you can just choose one of those document templates, and then you get to edit it fairly easily. There is an illumination workshop. Oh, that shouldn't matter, Steve. It should be within the Brightspace option. You don't have the document templates? Yeah, you should, regardless of access to the DLE. And also from a faculty development or somebody who's maybe a campus system admin, you can actually build your own templates and share them for use across your campus too. Okay. So I just want to, are there any other questions? Yeah, I love the accordion. It's my favorite. There are so many great tools within Brightspace that have changed the way that I have displayed my course materials and the way I encourage faculty to display their course materials. And I've been teaching online for 20 years, and I've been an instructional designer for like 13 or 14 years. And I went through all these Brightspace trainings, and I conducted a number of the Brightspace trainings. And the whole time as I'm doing these things, I'm like, okay, what can I do differently? How can I leverage these tools? And it has been, maybe just for me because I'm a nerd, but it has been such a pleasure to reconfigure my course materials. And I'm so excited about this.
Amy, do you see Laura's question? Do we have a template building training?
We don't have a template building training, but I would love to do, I don't know how to build a template, but I would love to figure that out. Where do you get the awards again? So if you might not have them on your toolbar, right? Every campus within the DLE can control what tools are available directly from the nav bar. But if you go to your course admin panel as a faculty member, you will have access to awards, and you can create those. We do a whole workshop on awards. We talk about how to create the badge or the certificate, and then how to tie them to a project. You can see like this one is for a certificate, and you can see that what the student had to do in order to earn that certificate, when it was awarded last September, etc. And then they can actually print out a certificate if they wanted to, just like this. These are badges. So you can see this badge is for people who attended a workshop last week, etc. And those are shareable actually under your profile. I'm not sure I have any. I don't have any, but students can share it to their profile then for other people to see which awards they have. The templates, which templates? Do you mean the document templates, or do you mean the SUNY templates that were created by the template resource group? Kent. SUNY templates. So if you go to the tle.suny.edu website. Sorry, I do not know why I don't want to go to the page that requires me to log in. Hang on, tle.suny.edu. There we go. So if you go to this page right here and you go to resources, you can see all of the course templates. So I'll grab this link for you and pop it right here in the chat. Yeah, you're welcome. And then while we're here on this page, we have recordings available for all of the stuff I was just talking about that are kind of the higher end tools within Brightspace. And you can sort these videos on this page by the type, and these are our Illuminations Advanced workshops. And so you can see we do a workshop that covers every single one of the kind of DLE document templates, how they might be used, how to edit them, etc. We talk about personalization, and that deals with release conditions, replace strings, etc. The checklist tool is here, rubrics, intelligent agents, groups. Groups, by the way, I have taught in 7 different learning management systems. This is the easiest time I've ever had creating groups and using groups. So this is amazing. There's also another set of tools called FAQ or glossary, and that allows you to create a list of frequently asked questions for your course. And students can kind of click through that FAQ and see if their question that they have is already on this list, and there will be a resourced answer for them there. And so if you have an ask a question discussion area, you might link to that FAQ so they can check that first before they post their question. So anyway, so yeah, Chris, I think that's great. If anybody else wants to share, I would love to see what other people are doing.
Jennifer has her hand up. I don't know if she wants to share or ask a question, but go ahead, Jennifer.
No, I actually wanted to share what we do. I teach in the nursing programs at SUNY Brockport, and the program that I direct is a fully asynchronous online program for the RN to BSN. So we worked with one of our instructional designers who knew how to create the templates. We explained to her what our weekly modules, what kind of content we would have in the weekly modules. She created a template module for us that faculty was then able to upload into each of their courses. And that way, not only did it simplify the process, but no matter what course the students are taking within that program, it created the consistency and the continuity from course to course so that they were set up exactly the same. And that made it easy for students to then navigate and know where to find things. So I don't know if those that are interested in getting a template for their own courses, if they can work with an instructional designer directly, on their campus who knows how to create these templates, and then just create a solid template that can be then shared with the faculty.
That sounds amazing. There was a question, is there a listserv where people are sharing? We are working on getting a way for people to share these amazing tools or uses of the tools within Brightspace. So watch for that. That's going to be coming from Danielle O'Brien and myself and the other DLE trainers. So we will build that, and then we'll provide access to that through the DLE website, most likely.
I had a quick question. So the thing I've been struggling with is finding the best way to replicate course structure across modules. Like at Blackboard, you could create a file, a folder, duplicate that, and then just update what's in that folder. So the process I kind of settled on now, and I'm just wondering if other people have ideas. I'm kind of doing the same thing in Brightspace, but using the file manager. So I
Mm.
created a folder for each week. In there, I dump in the 4 common files we use. So week overview, readings, lecture videos, additional resources. And then once I have those 4 files, I can then just duplicate that folder with those 4 files in it, rename it for the week I want it, and then go in and update the individual files without worrying about overwriting something that I did before.
Yeah, yeah. You're not alone. I think that we've actually shared that with D2L admins and team about wanting that copy structure kind of functionality, which we don't have. What you kind of alluded to was when you copy materials, say you copy a page that you used a document template and from module 1 into module 2, if you make adjustments in the module 2, it actually adjusts your module 1 to match. And so we're trying to avoid that practice, right? So I think if we were to, I'll share my screen here, you could do some combination of what you're doing, Steve, with playing around with those files, but also use the course builder. So you can see here that I had my original best practices module here. And then if you click this chevron here, you can copy the structure and then you come up to the full thing and then paste it.
Yeah,
but the problem with that is that you only then have placeholders, like you have to place your checklist here, place your, right? But then you could use that in conjunction with yours by adding files, etc., to these placeholders. You know that you want your module to look like this at the end, but you have to build some new materials here. It's not easy, and I wish there was an easier way because it would make my job much easier too. So you're not alone.
yeah. So yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
You're not. It's a definite lack of a tool that we need within Brightspace. The other thing that I have done for content that I want, that I don't really want to make adjustments to, but that I want to share, so, or duplicate. So say, for example, in my course overview, I have the, oh no, wait, it's in this one. Say, for example, I have this, nope, it's totally in here. This one, sorry. So I have this research project overview and I put it in my getting started module. But say I want to put this in every single module where they're going to have this content. You can go to that page, you can edit the HTML. And this is a little complicated. A lot of faculty panic when I tell them this, but they go into the source code view. You can copy all of that and then go to a subsequent module, create a file. And then just paste that material again in the source code here. So it's not as simple. Like I wish you could just say, copy this page and paste it in here, but that's.
Actually, you can, if you use the file manager and you know where this page is located, because then you can go into the file manager, find the original file, copy it, and then go to the folder you want it in and paste it there.
Yeah, the issue with file management is that's one thing I tend to not encourage faculty to go to because they can really flub stuff up. And so I tend to avoid that. But yes, for instructional designers, that's a fairly easy process.
Yeah, I was going to rely heavily on the file manager for what I'm proposing for our template. So that's interesting.
All right, I'm going to stop my share. I see a couple other people have been posting. Oh, nice, Marky. That's neat. So it's going to function similarly to our learning object repository when we get it, right? Where you'll be able to share components of a course across your department or across your campus or across SUNY, right? And you can reuse those pages. That's great. I'm curious what that looks like, Jennifer.
Can I share it with you? Am I able to share? I can pull it up and show you how they have it laid out, and
Yeah,
actually
Chris,
very nice.
Chris is controlling the room, but
Okay,
yeah, you could go ahead and share now.
okay. Let me find it. Here it is. Okay. So it populates, you know, as one of our organizations, and all the faculty have it. It's geared just for faculty and not students. So they have like a get started module that talks about teaching online, and is your course online ready? And I think it gives like a checklist, or you can start, maybe it's a teaching module. And then let me get back to where it was here. And some resources, and then they have the Brightspace user interface with some of the terminologies, how to work the nav bar, how to remove pop-ups. Then they have communication tools, like how to use announcements, the calendar, the checklist, so the faculty can decide what they want to include as widgets. Then they have third-party tools. We use Kaltura and VoiceThread a lot on Brockport. I'm not sure about other campuses, but they have those in there. The big thing is the accessibility, how to make sure that your courses are accessible, things like that. Ally, how to use Ally for campuses that utilize that. And then they have some quick guides that's offered through SUNY. So it's all in one spot. The faculty can go and compare and use different resources in setting up their online content. I just didn't know if this is something unique to Brockport, or if other SUNY campuses are doing the same thing.
I've not seen anything like that. So that might be something to share.
Yes. I would reach out, I don't know
Yeah.
if you or Chris would want, I would reach out to Jeff Thompson.
Yeah.
He's the one that's kind of, but I just found this to be very, very helpful, especially for new online faculty, that I thought maybe this could be a benefit for other faculty and other campuses too.
Yeah, that sounds like maybe something we should highlight at one of our next DLE meetings. That's great. I'll talk to Jeff. Like, I know that the transition to Brightspace was fast and furious, and it kind of came with some tension from the faculty and students and instructional design, from everybody, right? It was a big ask, particularly right after COVID. But I think I hope that everybody's as excited about it now that they're in it and they're playing around and are kind of ready to venture into making Brightspace a little bit more user-friendly and teacher-friendly than it was maybe in the initial course offering. So anyway, thanks, Chris, for having me talk about this today. I'm always happy to come and be enthusiastic about the great stuff that you can do in Brightspace. Yeah,
thank you, Jamie. That was really, really great. I taught with Brightspace in the fall, and I'm not teaching now, so I'm teaching in spring. I'm teaching in the fall, next fall again. So I'm gonna have to go back to this when I start designing my course. But
yeah, I think the thing is to tell the faculty not to get overwhelmed with doing all of these things all at once. Choose something, get it started, and then next semester try to add something else. And otherwise it gets a little overwhelming, but within a year, they're going to have the course exactly the way they want it.
Great point. All right, well, thank you again. Thanks everybody else for coming today. I anticipate we'll do more of these next year. If you have ideas for sessions you'd like to see us do for the faculty development community practice, please reach out to me. I'll probably do some kind of a survey for everyone who signed up for one of the meetings we had this semester, just to get your sense of if they were meaningful for you and what you'd like to see more of in the future. I'd also like to plan maybe some kind of regional face-to-face events, nothing beyond maybe like a drive-in kind of a situation. But I need to speak with, I have an advisory board for the faculty development community of practice. I need to talk to them first to see what they think. But, you know, I think we can certainly use some face-to-face time. But hopefully I see some of you at CIT next month. And like I said, we'll have a meeting at CIT on Thursday at 5. Probably walk to dinner together or something. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thanks again. Good to see you all. Have a good end of your semester.